just want to welcome y'all to the show this morning. I want to introduce y'all to the judge. Our judge is Mr. Dennis Kendrick. He's the ag teacher at Kerner County High School. They've had a show program over the entire time he's been there for the last 14 years now. They've shown lambs, goats, hogs, and cattle. He grew up showing as well, so he's judges numerous shows throughout the Southeast, Georgia, Florida, and Alabama. So glad to have him here with us today. And I don't know, you want to talk to him a little bit about things? I'll let him tell you what he's expecting out of you, and good luck to everybody.
Good morning. I really don't have a set trick to what I'm looking for. I know if y'all showed before it, my biggest thing is I like to see the fundamentals. When you come in, what I'm going to challenge you on and what I see so often is too many times you come in because you're being evaluated, you get nervous. The key, I think, in showmanship is, I'm sure you went over with your parents, your ag teachers, your agents, all the fundamentals. So I am looking for those, but I think when you get in the ring, the key that it's getting in this ring and doing really good in the show, whether it be showmanship or your class, is when you stick with the fundamentals, the key there is to stay calm, regardless, because you know sometimes you don't have control over that animal. I mean, what I mean by that one is you get in here and that animal don't always want to cooperate like you ideally would like. If that happens today, I challenge you to just remember to stay calm, work through it, and stay with the fundamentals. Because if you do that, I understand that those animals get in here and get spooked or whatever. Thursday, I was in a judging situation when the girl come in, senior showmanship, and I don't know what happened to her calf, but he all of a sudden just went nuts and went to butting her and everybody else, and even come at me before it was over with. In that situation, she still managed to gain composure and keep on showing. So the biggest thing I want to tell you, when y'all come in here today, remember to stay calm, don't get hurt or do anything. You know the speed, you practice with your animals, you know the speed it takes that animal to set up. If you try to get it in a rush, normally it don't want to cooperate. So the biggest thing I want to tell y'all this morning is don't get nervous on it. Just come here and stay calm. Some little key things I do when you stick. Each one of y'all probably have a different style. I don't have a particular style. The biggest thing is I like to see that you've got control of the stick, and that stick just ain't just flopping around every which way and or dragging it behind you. But those are the key things. Nothing really magical or special about what I do, but I did want to go over that with you before you come in here. We've got a big enough ring, I think, the exhibitors we've got. We're going to come in here and give each other plenty of space. Let's spread it out and let's enjoy the day. I hope that when we get in this ring, I know y'all work hard. I enjoy coming in here and being able to have fun with y'all. Y'all remember, while this is a competition, we want to have fun with it. And I hope by the end of the day we can all say that we had fun, regardless of what the outcome is. So I look forward to y'all coming in here and presenting animals, and good luck to each and every one of you.
Give them just a couple of minutes. If you have not bought any steer show tickets and would like some, we're going to wrap them on 4th of the beat. See that table back there with Jimmy, we've got tickets and everything. But we're wrapping them off during the show. If you need some tickets, get back there and see one of them. We're going to give them just a couple of minutes to get back there and get the chairs out. We're going to get started with the junior showmanship.
3 exhibitors in this first class. I must tell you that the way they present their animals and the way they handle themselves in the ring is really impressive. A lot of times you get these smaller shows and there's not many people. It makes it harder on the exhibitor. And if you've ever been in the ring and showed, you understand this, because you get out there and you get in a larger class at the state show or whatever, and the judge is trying to focus on the many exhibitors out there. And sometimes you'll give the opportunity when the calf wants to move or step out of place or something. It gives you an opportunity to get it fixed without getting caught. But when there's only 3 in the ring, it really makes it hard, not for every little situation to be caught by the judge. And therefore, it really makes it more important on how you handle those situations because the judge is focused on you at all times. And I think all 3 of these exhibitors do a real good job of handling the situations that were presented to them today. But in my mind, when you really start analyzing and get down to it, the young lady here is going to win the class today. From the time she come in, she really presented herself well in the ring. She knew how to handle her calf at all times. Right here at the end, want to get out of place. But to me, a big difference here is, and I'm not wanting to bring too much attention to it to the young man on the end, but I do want to focus on it because to me it's a fundamental. When I walked through and I handled those calves, the young lady was the one that I noticed immediately, not while I was standing there, but she went ahead and immediately went and combed that calf out because I'd come and handled it. And that to me is a big issue. And some might want to say that's old school, but that's how I grew up, I reckon. But to me, that's a big issue in getting that calf, as a judge handled it, getting it combed back out. And I think that was really a deciding point in my mind. Young man here in a second, I really like your ring presentation. From the time you walked in, boy, you commanded my attention. Obviously, as I spoke out before we even got started today, sometimes those calves don't want to work with you. You handled yourself well. It's just one of those situations when it gets that close and gets nitpicky. Obviously, your calf didn't do anything to help you today, but boy, you do a great job. I really like the way you present yourself. Young man, another one of those situations, your calves wanting to get fast and all, but you're the one I'm speaking of. Next time I caution you to bring a comb in the ring with you, so if the judge touches it, you can't comb it out. But let's give those zippers a round of applause.
First place is Blaze Beasley. Second place, John Dean Daniels. Third place, Bo Shire. Coming up next is the senior showmanship. Be Austin Barnes, Branson Beasley, Merritt Daniels, Christian Goodman, and Trent Hester.
Folks, this is a really tough class of showmanship. I'm going to be honest, given the circumstances, I can't say that I've ever judged anybody that's ever been on crutches before in the ring. If I sit out here and told you it doesn't add a twist to the showmanship to make it more difficult, I'd be lying. And I'm not going to do that to you today. Before we get down to the two we've left over here, I want to talk about the three we've got over on this side. The young ladies we've got here on the end. We come in, the calves not wanting to cooperate with you right from the get-go. When we line them up on the side, wanted to twist on you, and that makes it very difficult to keep them in line, keep them set up. I think when we really get down to it, some issues of being able to set those feet and legs up as quick as some of those above you, though, young ladies. But you do a good job trying to control that calf today that's not wanting to cooperate. And as you can see now, all three of them, one a bit over here wanting to move around, and I really think it makes it difficult for these three given this situation. The young man we have next, calf maybe not moved as much as the young man ahead of him, but some little things we get into. First of all, both of y'all answered your question the same way. When I asked you what age, y'all both told me a year old. In showmanship, I think it's important you know the exact date of that heifer. By now, you've done carried it to a state show. Y'all done showed it this long. I think you should really know the exact date of that heifer. I know I don't see a tag, well, there's a purple one, but I don't know if you show these purebred or commercials and show them by weight or however, but still, I think it's important to know that, because whatever target you're getting at, you need to know the age of that calf so you can figure out how to feed them in relationship to what size they should be when they finish out. So a year old at the level of showmanship you are, and grade level I mean, as well as where we are in the stage of showing, I think you should be specific in your dates. Now, beyond that, I just feel like when it gets down to some little nitpicky things about the feet and leg placement or where you put them, and then how you stand in relationship to that calf. Young man, I caution you as you go forward and you're showing, watch how you stand on the front animals. I walked around, you tend to widen your legs when you stand there. I wish you would put your legs closer together. Because it really, and I'm not trying to embarrass you in there, but to me, as you walk around and you got a wider stance, it almost looks like you're down, getting ready to run with that calf and get ready to take off. It doesn't make it look as comfortable to you as some of the others in the ring. And those are little nitpicky things for me that I think makes a difference today in placing the young man we have here in second, once again, in third, excuse me, once again, as I mentioned. I think you do an excellent job, but in comparison to the two we have left over here, just not as quick. The calf doesn't want to cooperate well, being able to set up your feet and legs. And then again, I caught you on the question. But those three do an excellent job, which now brings us back over to the two that we have left standing. And as I said, it really makes it difficult as you start analyzing the things we've got going on over here. The young lady at a disadvantage, I think, for the fact that she doesn't have but one good leg she's out there on. And when you take that, and as I said earlier about if you've ever been in a show ring, it's hard enough to show these animals when you got two good legs. Not to mention you now having to work around on crutches and hope that calf doesn't move. And to be honest, it hasn't moved much until right here at the end. The young man, excellent ring presence. When you come in, we got over here on this side view though. I don't know if it's something on this end or whatever, but it started spooking this calf and not wanting to get to stand as well as it was on the side and all. And like I say, when you analyze all the factors that we've got going on here, it really makes it hard in my mind to decide, because it's really close between the two. I guess when it comes down to it today, given the situation, and it makes it hard because I can tell you this, to be on crutches and a calf to come in and just basically walk into place like that calf has for you, and with the exception of a few times stand still, I think to me, it gets really close on feet and legs. Yours is moved, and then the moving don't bother me. I guess it's how we got it set back up. And I'm really, and to me, the back legs have not been the issue. It really gets real nitpicky on the front legs to me. I don't feel like you've got yours quite as square at times as the young lady we have here. You're going to be second day young ladies don't win the class. So let's give them a round of applause.
First place, Merritt Daniels. Second place, Trent Hester. Third place, Branson Beasley. Fourth place, Austin Barnes. Fifth place, Christian Goodman. Give all them another round of applause. Gonna give them just a second to get out of the ring because I think one of them is showing in the first class at Heifer. And we'll need Trent Hester and Blaze Beasley to come to the ring. Miss Jennifer, you want to go on and draw for her first front quarter.
Start to analyze these two heifers we brought in class one. I'll be honest, the best way to, if you want to summarize, is kind of just pick your poison. We've got two different types of calves out here. And the young lady's got a really long, extended, square-made heifer. Maybe she's really cleaned up through that front end. She's really level out of her hip. She tracks. I really like how she moves off her feet and legs. I guess in my mind, when you look at it, and what I've always kind of thought of that more of that show type heifer, she's that. If I could change her, I would like to deepen her in that chest floor, make her a little broodier in appearance, like the young man's heifer we have second. This is just a really powerfully constructed, really deep chested, a lot of brood and volume, brood potential and volume here in this heifer. But when you really get around and move, I don't like the way she moves off her back feet and legs as well as the young lady we have here. I don't think she's quite as extended in that hip as she wants to be a little shorter coupled from hooks to pins as compared to the young lady heifer we have sitting right there in front of him. So, as I said, kind of a pick your poison, what are you looking for type deal as far as what would you want. If you just want more volume and more power, or you want one that's got a little more elegance, who's really extended, really moves good, really structurally correct. It really makes it difficult when you do that. The question comes, does this one have enough volume to go forth and be production oriented? And in my mind, when I say she's a little shallower, I think she does have enough volume for me today. Like I said, I would like to change her. I would like to give her the rib shape and that depth that the young man's have. But when it comes back to me, I'm really focused on structure. And I think when we put them in motion and we look at her lines, the young lady is a more structurally correct day. We're going to use her first, and the young man's going to be second.
Blaze Beasley in first, Trent Hester in second. We get class 2 to start making their way to the ring. Be Christian Goodman and Austin Barnes.
We get these two heifers out here, and I think when you look at them, it's kind of the same situation we had in class 1 as far as the type and kind. We have a heifer here that's got a larger skeletal outline to her. She's longer bodied, she's straighter in her lines, cleaner through her front end. Definitely doesn't have the power as far as, and the broodiness that we have in the heifer here below her. But when you start looking at her as far as structural differences and all, like I say, just two different types. But I think in my mind, it comes, and once again, we start putting them together. I like to see some calves with some femininity. This is the more moderate frame heifer here. Like I say, she's got plenty of muscle to her. She's got plenty of volume to her. But when you start looking at her, she gets short neck, coarser in her front end, really wide through that front end. And when you start looking at her in the relationship of how much body she has in relationship to the bone work at her, I start to have a little problem with her as far as I'd like to see more bone mass to her. That also, she's a heifer that's starting to put on or has a good bit more condition than the heifer we have down here. The heifer we have here, yes, I would like to change her to something. To me, she wants not quite as square off of her feet legs as I'd like to see when viewed from behind. She wants to hawk in just a bit. But when you analyze her from the side, really extended through that neck, lays in well through those shoulders, really level down her top. A heifer that, once again, it comes out of the question, has she got enough volume to go forth and produce? And once again, I think she does. The young man's going to be first today. The young lady's going to be second. Let's give him a round of applause.
Austin Barnes in first place, Christian Gibb in the second place. Let's give them a round of applause. Third class will be Austin Barnes and Mary Samuels. Ms. Jennifer will draw from the front court.
You look at these two heifers, I guess they're very similar as far as their type and kind. I think as far as the levelness of design they have, the length of body that they're carrying, how they stand out here on the profile, and when they catch you, both really straight in their line. I guess when you start to look on it, you got to start putting the pieces together and ask yourself which one has the best combination of pieces that's most correct in your mind today. And when we start analyzing, I think there's some differences in both. The heifer we have here, really tall, long-bodied heifer that's really straight in her lines. When you get behind her, you like the amount of muscle that she has in compared to that. But I guess where I start to have a problem here is when you look at her in relationship to the way her feet and legs sit as far as the squareness. She wants to pull those legs out as you get down. Not really so much hop in, but want to kick the hooves out on the bottom. So it really makes it difficult to analyze that in a way. The young man's heifer, I think, sits more correct from hitting the ground, sits more square on those feet and legs. When you start comparing them both as far as the angulation of the shoulder and all, I think the heifer we have here has a more correct set and more angulation to her shoulder in comparison to the heifer here. This heifer to me wants to get a little straighter in her shoulder set. Not making her coarse in the shoulder, I don't mean that by any means, but just more straighter in the shoulder, not quite the correct angulation that we see in the heifer above us. When we look at the volume and capacity, when you just sit there from the side and look, they're very close as far as the same amount of depth. But when you put that in a relationship to the amount of frame that they have, I just feel like the heifer we have here in front has a more correct combination of volume and capacity to her in comparison to the amount of frame she's carrying today. She wants to carry that depth all the way back into her flank. Where I see this heifer is not quite as deep in the way she's put together, especially down in that flank, as we do the heifer up here. The young man's got. The young man here is going to be first. The young lady's going to be second.
Austin Barnes in first place, Merritt Daniels in second place. In fourth class will be Branson Beasley and Trent Hester. Miss Jennifer, you want to go and draw for another hind quarter? Yeah, hind quarter.
We've got two really powerful heifers coming in this class. And in my mind, it goes back to just the basics of structure that I think really set them apart. young man here is going to win the class, a really complete heifer. When she comes in, she really grabs your attention as far as the profile she puts together. When he gets her set up and you go to analyze her for the volume and rib shape she's got, she doesn't disappoint. If you get behind her and look at the amount of muscle mass, she has a lot of muscle in that hind quarter, coming off a really square hip, and carries that amount of muscle all the way down into how she sets well, very square on a good set of feet and legs, or heifer that I really like as she gets out and moves in comparison to the amount of volume and muscle she's carrying. The young man we have here in second, a really long body, really powerful, what made heifer, but to me the issue comes down to mobility. And when you put this heifer in motion, she just really gets tight on her movement, doesn't have that reach and flex I want to see off the front or rear wheels. As she gets out and moves, she wants to really round out on that hip and movement, but a heifer nonetheless that's got a lot of volume and capacity to her. I just think when you look at her from a structural standpoint, she doesn't have the structure needed to be placed above the other young man's heifer that we have in first. Let's give him a round of applause.
Trenton Hester in first, Ransom Beasley in second. Fifth class will be Merrick Daniels, Blaze Beasley.
Pfizer. Clayton, that was front or hind? Was that the front or hind?
Once again, one of those classes is just, in my mind, just two different type heifers when you bring them out here. Young man Charlotte heifer that he has here, a heifer that I really like from the hip forward. She's got a lot of volume, a lot of depth to her in relationship to the amount of frame size she's carrying. Where I start to have problems with this heifer when you analyze her in the hip, she wants to round out of that hip, drop down from hook to pin, and because of that, really gets those feet up under when you get her on the move. Just doesn't travel as well off those back feet and legs that I'd like to see, but a heifer nonetheless is packed with muscle, just full of power. But I think we have some structural issues we have to analyze when we look at her. Young lady's heifer, not as much muscle to her as the young man behind her, but a heifer, when you look at her from the side, she's just a very powerful, very broody, in my mind, probably the highest probability of roof guy potential in the class here, an effort that you got to admire that depth of rib she has and the way she carries that volume all the way back into her flank. She's really bold in her rib shape. Maybe if you want to get critical of her, I would like to see her in relationship to the way she ties in right behind that shoulder, carry that volume a little better into that shoulder, but nonetheless, she's put together very well in my mind. She's going to be the class winner today. Charlie Hill is going to be second.
Blaze Beasley in first place, Merrick Daniels in second place. All right, now we're gonna go to the grand championship. So I need all the first place winners to come back to the ring. Class 1 will be Blaze Beasley. Second class will be Austin Barnes. Third class will be Austin Barnes. Fourth class will be Trent Hester. Fifth class will be Blaze Beasley. While we're waiting on them to get turned around and coming back, they're going to draw for another 4.
bring back our class winners in here. I'm real pleased with the way these calves line up as far as the fact that each one of them, in my mind, have enough volume in comparison to the frame size. They have enough look to them to be out here as far as show calves, and definitely enough muscle to them, I think. But most importantly, in my mind, when we start analyzing these heifers, we can't forget even those show calf project. And then this is one of the issues where I may differ from a lot of people is I know these are show calves, but and we want to put as much muscle on them as we can, but y'all, we still got to keep them functional because the whole purpose is they've got to go back to the pasture. And I'm a firm believer if they don't have the structure and that structural integrity, it don't matter how much muscle you put on. In the end, when they get down in that pasture and can't move around and graze like they need to, you can just load them up, take them to the stockyard. So I think we've got to put structure first in our females. And I think each one of those that we have out here will definitely fit the bill on structure in comparison to those other qualities we're looking for. We taught each one of those in class, and I'm not going to go back through each 5, but I want to commend you. Not 10 heifers in a show is not a large show in comparison to by certain show standards. But the quality that I've seen here today is definitely to be commended because it's been very high quality. You go to some places and you have 1 or 2 really good ones in comparison to some others. And I think the quality from top to bottom has been really good. And as a judge and as a county, y'all, as a judge, I really appreciate it. It makes it more difficult, more challenging to evaluate. And as a county, you should be very pleased with that because you know you represent your county well as far as the quality you put out there. I think in my mind there's a couple of heifers out here that I think really get close as far as champions. So I'm going to turn off this mic, evaluate them one more time, and then name you champion.
We need French, other heifer, 6306. We'll bring back the second place heifer from Class 1. Definitely doesn't disappoint when she lines up out here. I did feel like Class 1 was probably the most difficult to judge today, as it was the closest between the two. So she really, in my mind, fits the bill, and to be honest about it, really comes in contention for that reserve champion. However, I think there's another one out here that, in my mind, is just a little bit better today. And it is being exhibited, if I'm not mistaken, by the young man that would be on this one had he not been down here. That was Beasley, the grand champion heifer, Brent Hester, reserve champion heifer. Now we're gonna do the county grown heifer. We need Kristen Goodman, tag 30X, Merritt Daniels, tag 172, Merritt Daniels, tag 252. Come to the ring.
I want to commend you on having a county-grown division. A lot of times I see this is overlooked as we get in there, and sometimes we forget, I don't say forget, but a show project can go several different directions for an exhibitor sometimes. And I always like that division when you got your county-grown and you raise them up from the smaller age versus going out and hitting all the sales. I just think it's a neat little deal. In my mind, it kind of stays true to the roots of where the cattle project was started, and teaching these kids some values from the earlier start. And some of them you may have even raised on your farm from conception on through to where they are now. So I really like this division. When we get these three out here, there's some differences in my mind between them, and we'll start studying them. You can, if you would come out here and want to put one back in your herd, like I say, you can go different directions. But for me, there's one out here, I think, of the three that's more complete in the total package. As I said, there's bits and pieces I'd like to take off each one of them and change about each one of them. And you can sit there and argue all that all day long. But I think, in my mind, the most complete is going to go to the young lady right here on the end. And then following up with reserve, we're going to go down to this end with the young man with the Charlotte.
County grown, that'll be Merritt Daniels, John D. Daniels, be reserved.
as we move into the steer show, we've got two individuals out here that one more correct in his overall structural makeup, more level in his design, square off that hip. The other one is just simply power. That's the best way to describe it. And now we just got through the heifer show, and I'm talking how important structure and all is, and I must be the first to admit when we start talking about marketing animals, I still think we've got to maintain some structure, but I think our priorities change because these are market animals, and structure is not near as important when we get them up to this weight in my mind as it is in those breeding heifers. With that being said, looking at the total product aspect of it, I think the young man steer here is just the steer that's going to win the class in terms of just overall power and muscle that he's carrying. A steer that's really wide over his top, really bold in those shoulders. Has enough rib shape to him when you get from behind him. I think he just really just stands out in this class as far as the amount of width and dimension he has, especially from stifle to stifle. He stands on more substance of bone. Yes, there are some structural things that I don't like about him and would definitely like to change about him. And given a different class with different numbers, it will change all around. But I think when you analyze the two for looking for the product aspect of it today, I think he wins the class. A young lady has a steer that's longer body, has more frame and skeleton to it, level in its design. But nonetheless, disappoints when you get behind him as far as the overall muscle mass he has in relationship to our class winner today. If we could stout him up, add some more bone, I think we can move him up in class. But today, I just doesn't feel like he has the power to win this class. Let's give these exhibitors a round of applause.
First place for Bo Shire, the second place for Christian Goodman. The second class will be John Dean Daniels, Bo Shire.
Bring his class in. We're going to start with the young man down here on this end. The young man steer, in my mind, just best combines the characteristics I'm looking for in a steer. The fact that he's really deep ribbed. He's got a lot of volume and capacity. He's got enough look to him when you put him out in the ring, but most importantly, when you get behind him, he doesn't disappoint with the amount of muscling that he has in him. I think he's more correct in his conditioning today. And compared to the exterior we're going to have using second. But most importantly, I think when we look at frame size and all, he's more on mark with what the industry standard is calling for today as far as his conditioning, his frame size, and the muscle pattern he has. The young man steer, we've got a really large outline steer that we've got here in second. He's really long bodied. And that being said, I think we start to have some issues with what the industry is looking for and the fact of where he's at in relationship to his frame size, conditioning, and the muscle that he has. A steer that I'd just like to moderate his frame size and add some more thickness to him to move him up in class. But let's give these exhibitors a round of applause for this.
John Dean Daniels in first place, Bo Shire in second. We'll give just a minute to leave out, and we'll come back with the grand and reserve. It'll be Bo Shire in your first class, and John Dean in the second class.
Round two class winners in. We've got two really stout-made, powerfully constructed steers that I think that we bring back from each class. Steers that I'm proud to see the amount of muscle that they have in relationship to their frame size and condition they carry. But in my mind, I think we have one that just puts the pieces together as far as that overall look, combined with that power and muscle we've talked about. That's going to be your man right here. He's going to be your champion today.
Back to the ring, please.
Bring back our second place steer from the second class steer. Just due to his overall size and weight that he has, definitely gonna have a lot of product to yield in him. Nonetheless, I think when you compare him to our grand champion and which one follows more closely in the type design, it's gonna be our class winner from class 1. He's gonna be reserve champion.
Grand champion John D. Daniels, reserve champion Bo Shira, and we need bows, y'all know what to do, and Christian Goodman, county grown.